And welcome in to another episode of Off Script. My name is Zak Herbstreit. Let's talk about a team today, which I feel like has been relatively dormant this offseason. Pretty quiet, not a lot of noise coming from them, at least from the national media. I've seen bits and pieces here and there, but that team's the Clemson Tigers. So for me, in my eyes, that really begs the question, what do we expect, or what are realistic expectations for this Clemson team going into 2026? But before we get into it today, if you enjoy college football, if you enjoy the channel, make sure to hit that thumbs up button, subscribe to the channel as well. It really helps me out a lot, so I appreciate you guys. But let's get into it here. First off, it's no secret it's been a disappointing couple of seasons for this Clemson team. I mean, last season they had 6 losses, which is, compared to the season before that, as a playoff team, like you're like, what happened? You know, it's kind of crazy to think about. They go from making the playoff to 6 losses, and then in the past 3 seasons, 14 losses total. So really the question is now, like, what happened? What needs to be changed in order for this Clemson team to be put back on track? And really, this is a whole can of worms we can get into here, depending on how you look at this issue. You can look at it from the perspective of it was a coaching issue, which Dabo went out and got a brand new offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, so maybe that solves the problems. Or you can look at the issue of not being heavily involved in the transfer portal and blaming it on your opponents having more developed players as opposed to you guys have new recruits coming in, which I feel like is a little void, in my opinion, just because it's not like you have a freshman at every single position. You know, it's like you still have developed players on this Clemson team. So I don't know as much if that is like so true, in my opinion, but I still think it holds some validity just because, you know, there are a lot of teams out there really getting some great portal picks from, you know, depth at an offensive line or something like that, or maybe in the secondary. So maybe that could be something. But for me, at the end of the day, I feel like just the biggest thing is getting back to that classic Clemson culture from 8, 9, 10 years ago. What made these Clemson teams really special was that classic Clemson culture. And I feel like the philosophy of best is the standard needs to be reinforced a little bit more, because last year when I was watching this Clemson team, I feel like I didn't see that as much. Week 1, when they were playing LSU, a chance to beat the SEC, I saw it. I saw flashes here and there. I saw flashes of, you know, that relentless fight, relentless effort, that hunger. That hunger is probably the biggest thing for this Clemson team, because, you know, it's a smaller school compared to these Ohio States, these Notre Dames, Alabamas. So that's really what drives this team, is the culture around it. So as far as expectations go, and solely based what I've heard from spring and murmurs online and message boards and stuff like that, I feel like we are going to see progress from this Clemson team. I'm pretty optimistic about that, because at the end of the day, you're still an elite team in recruiting, still have a very talented roster, pretty favorable schedule this upcoming year. Your only incredibly hard games are week 1 at LSU, and then you got to play Miami at home. And then, you know, it's a toss-up with going at Cal. That could be a hard game. And also, we're not sure how Virginia Tech's going to be. So that's also, you know, it's a different conversation there with how just the depth in the ACC and how that will be. But overall, the schedule is pretty favorable. And also, it's really going to depend on the quarterback play with Chris Virginia and just how well and how consistent he is doing good things, not turning the ball over. So going to be interesting to see how he plays. And at the end of the day, for me, though, I feel like the ceiling for this team is probably 8 or 9 wins, which is a big improvement from where you were last year. So I think the new coaching changes, which is huge for Clemson, and then the addition of maybe getting that culture ramped up a bit, best is the standard, re-emphasizing that and being like, hey, guys, we had a great offseason, had a pretty solid spring. Let's get into fall camp and let's play our ball that we're used to be playing. Dabo, I have complete faith in. I know his track record is proven. He wins. That's a fact. So I really am optimistic about this team. It's not going to be night and day. It's not going to be like, hey, we're in the playoff again. But, you know, you're slowly going to make your way. Recruiting's going to get back to where it was, and this Clemson team will be back. I'm very confident about that. But Clemson fans, let me know what you guys think. I know a couple years, it's been down the dumps a little bit. You had that little stint where you made the playoff, first-round exit to Texas. But, you know, it's just not enough. And even just making it to the ACC championship, winning games for this Clemson fan base. You know, I know it means a lot in Clemson. I've been to multiple games. My brother played there, so I know what it means. But Clemson fans, I want to know your thoughts, feelings, bold takes. Let me know all of it. Like I said, my name's Zak Herbstreit. This is Off Script. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'll see you guys soon.